We've been hearing a lot of information regarding misunderstandings with the intent to file process.
Effective dates are one of the most difficult things to determine while being in the VA.
It's okay if the whole entire process takes longer than 12 months. Intent to file is just an effective date. You have 12 months to file your claim.
Not wait until the last day to get your claim filed from your intent to file, because you may never know what happens, right? It is very difficult to determine effective dates for a lot of decision makers. Decision makers make mistakes.
Hello and welcome to the Prepare to Compete podcast, where we talk all things VA benefits, real estate, entrepreneurship, and more. Kenneth Davis, how you feeling today, my brother?
Oh man, I'm just honored to be a part of the #1 veteran show here, to be able to educate, support, and provide such a crutch for our veteran community to make sure that we're doing everything right for them.
Absolutely. Really appreciate the support. Really sincerely. You know, we've been growing the channel for a while. We could not do it without you. The feedback, the support, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you so much, veteran community here. And we're going to continue to give our all for you.
At the end of the day, we're here to make sure not only we're able to serve, but put you in a position where you are able to gather the information and galvanize it.
We want to maximize your benefits, and that's why today we have some breaking news for you. And the reason why this is going to be breaking news is because obviously we work with veterans, helping with the claim process as part of our careers. And we've been hearing a lot of information regarding misunderstandings with the intent to file process. Okay, so now Kenneth will kind of delve more into this, but now you have 12 months to file your claim. However, sometimes it may take months on end to build and gather all your medical evidence. And frankly, you're spending a long time even getting your medical records. So what I'm noticing is that veterans are having a lot of nervous apprehensions of that intent to file date and only getting 12 months of back pay. So some misconceptions about how that back pay works with that intent to file. So a couple of things, right, you want to break down, Kenneth. Let the group here know what an intent to file is, right? And
understanding this is such a nuance for most. They have so many questions on a regular basis, and we always want to provide the information. So when we're talking about an intent to file, the action word there, right, is intent. We have the intent to be able to file this VA disability claim. So when we're filing that disability claim, we want to preserve the effective date. So the preservation of effective date would come by submitting your intent to file, right? So understanding that we need to submit this intent to file, this is going to preserve the effective date for 12 months. Okay, for 1 year. And trust me, I would not wait until the last day. Okay, so do not wait until the last day to get your claim filed from your intent to file, because you may never know what happens, right? Your system is down, your printer is not working, you ran out of ink and can't sign the documents, what have you. But in regards to your intent to file, please make sure that you're filling out form 21 TAC 0966, okay? That is gonna preserve your effective date in regards to your intent to file, all right? Or you can always log into your va.gov account to go ahead and start the process of submission, and then that will actually electronically populate your intent to file. Sometimes it does take a few further steps to be able to get to that point, but what I will tell you, the first things first, always submit your intent to file before anything, right? So again, that's 12 consecutive months that you have to file your claim from the date of submission.
Absolutely. No, and that's great, right? And, we're continually establishing more resources and support for you here. So, of course, we have our Maximizing VA ebook that you can actually purchase as well. And then we also have a community where you're able to ask questions and get support from the whole entire Veterans to Veterans team and also other veterans within that community, as well as we have courses as well, right? So if you're interested in being a part of any of that, we have some information on the screen. We would love to reach out to you, get you that information so that you can be a part of the growing community, not just here on YouTube, but in person and in other places that we gather as well.
True indeed, true indeed. And I promise the courses, they do not have end of semester tests, so you don't have to worry about that. What it does have is that you have a support system that is going to reach out to you to see if you need further help or information that we can support you with, right? So you do have a support system that will check on you if you understood the content on what course that you took, giving you question and answers on some of the nuances. So you all, again, just because you went through the course, we don't leave it there. We want to make sure execution happens, right? So we're always going to follow up with you, make sure, again, that you're keeping that train moving forward.
Absolutely. Great. So now when a veteran is applying for a claim, you put in the intent to file, it maintains that effective date. Why that's very important is for the compensation, right? For the actual back payments for that. So what we've been kind of encountering is that veterans not particularly understanding that it's okay if the whole entire process takes longer than 12 months, okay? Because that intent to file is just an effective date. You have 12 months to file your claim. However, there's going to be a strong and long timeline on the VA decision makers assigning any type of examinations and then issuing their rating decision. So Kenneth, what the veterans want to know and want to understand is that what happens if they file their claim at month 8 and now it's month 12 and they still don't have a rating decision? What happens to that compensation over and past that 12-month period?
Great question. So let me tell you guys, effective dates are one of the most difficult things to determine while being in the VA, right? Effective dates, okay? Because now, as of March of last year, we must understand that a judgment was overturning that supplemental claims are able to receive intent to files to receive that effective date of their intent to files if it was within a year's time frame of submission. What that means, again, if you have a previously denied claim and you submitted an intent to file prior to submitting your supplemental claim, and it was 8 months for you to get your evidence needed for your supplemental claim, your decision should go retroactively to that intent to file, all right? But now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of understanding. A lot of times when we're talking about effective dates, it is a nuance not only that you are wondering about, sometimes your decision makers are wondering about as well, right? Because when we're talking about a continuous prosecution of a claim to be decided upon and adjudicated, it takes time. It may be denied once, it may be denied twice, it may be denied 3 times. And it still can also be adjudicated and provide a retroactive pay all the way back to the date of your intent to file if it is continuously prosecuted, all right? And that's very important. So what that means is, again, for an original claim, for any type of claim, if you submit an intent to file and you submitted it on a 363rd day, okay? And the only reason I say 63rd because 64 is a little bit too close for my liking. But If you submitted it on that 63rd day, and it takes the VA 400 days to get it processed, which we pray it does not. Again, if you got the counsel with Veterans for Veterans, typically it would not take that long. But we'll talk about numbers of average when you go ahead and text the number across the screen. We'll make sure that you're taken care of. But when you have submitted that claim and it has taken the VA 400 days to process your claim and you are approved, so now you're going to receive back pay to the date of your submission of intent to file. So it does not matter how long it takes the VA to render a correct decision, you're going to be rendered your retroactive pay from the date of your intent to file. Okay? That intent to file date is very important. All right. So when we talk about that, be very vigilant on those dates. Piece of advice, I would put it in the calendar. We have a lot of different notifications that can populate to help us out. So I would do so, something of that nature to notify you. Because when we're talking about a claim that is approved from 3 months versus 300, in 65 days, it could be a decision over thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. You can possibly even go from 0 to 100% and be able to collect a retroactive benefit all the way back to the date you submitted your intent to file. So be very vigilant in your submission of your intent to file and collect every day that you deserve. Effective dates is a very difficult determination to make. So when we're collecting that determination, make sure that we're understanding that that if you have followed the processes and system from intent to file on, you should be able to collect your effective date from the date of submission of your intent to file.
Absolutely. No, great information here, Kenneth. And I know you mentioned supplemental claims here. We have a whole entire video where we kind of explain the new changes with that. And what I want to make sure that they understand, and you can dive a little bit into here, is that the effective date of the supplemental claim, right? So it's going to be attached to that initial intent to file. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you do not need a new intent to file for your actual supplemental claim.
No. From your submission of your date of your supplemental claim, it is going to be intact with the intent to file that was a year prior to that submission.
Absolutely.
Okay, because it's a supplemental. You understand? It's a supplemental claim. Okay, and it's a previously denied claim. And as long as there's an intent to file attached, you should be able to receive that intent to file date. But just as I said before, it is very difficult to determine effective dates for a lot of decision makers. That is one of the number one things, okay, or criteria that decision makers make mistakes.
That, and then also it has to be continuous prosecution, right? So you can't say, well, yeah, I'm filing a supplemental claim. I had an intent to file in 2017 rather, and now in 2024, I want to pick that back up and assume that I'm going to get back pay all the way to 2017, right? And that's a misconception that we run into at times.
Yeah. And I'm smiling because, one, we're here to really provide you the great counsel and support. But we must understand that as we dive into the information that you guys are given, it's horrendous, to say the least. And I'm sorry that you have to receive that, right? So in regards to back pay or retroactive pay, it's not going to go to 1980 just because he submitted a claim in 2024. So let's cut that out right now. Let's just remove that from our mindset, okay? there is no way they're going to pay you from there, from 1980, right? Unless there's always gray areas, unless there is a continuous prosecution of claims. Now, if it's taken the VA 40 years to get that done, I think we have bigger problems than the intent to file, right? But with that being said, again, it typically, if you have continuously prosecuted the claim over years and years and years, and making sure that you have done everything in your power to get your evidence and testimonies and formal conferences done, and prescribed forms filled out within always a year's time frame of date of submission of claim, and also notification letter, and also your intent to file, then again, the prosecution could continue for the most part, but the determination of effective dates are very, very, very tricky. Okay, we'll get into another video where we talk about effective dates and stage decisions and so on and so forth. But all in all, effective dates, it's not going to go all the way back to your service time. So unless you are within that year.
Absolutely. And then now, Kenneth, before we close out here, what I want you to do is now, obviously working with veterans serve thousands of clients, right? So we've seen this play out in a variety of different circumstances. Do you have any, stories that, of course, won't go into detail, but vaguely mention regarding individuals who have received back pay for a number of years?
Yes. I have for several different occasions. I obviously we're again impacting so many different veterans that are in great positions in life for the most part, and veterans who are unfortunately not doing so well, and on the cusp of a break in their lives, right? And on the brink, really. So. There was one impactful story that we consider here as one of our greatest stories here at Veterans for Veterans. We were actually helping a veteran through their process and providing the counsel and information. And obviously we have other resources that we partner our veterans with, who are vetted resources medically, to be able to get counseling. Medical care, obviously they go to the VA, but sometimes they need a little bit more. So we point them in the right direction. And this veteran in particular was, dealing with a lot of ailments that was hindering them physically and mentally. So they were actually, unfortunately, homeless veterans, which obviously we were able to point them in the right direction for transitional housing. But they decided to go live back with their parents and so on and so forth. But this veteran has been prosecuting their claim for years. And one of our subject matter experts was very diligent to be able to help this person. And it warms me to say that they were able to not only support them and get them in the right direction for medical care, emergency counsel, and also shelter, but also getting their cleanly processed, right? And once they help them provide the counsel to get things moving forward, well, they were able to receive close to $90,000. Again, that was because this veteran was continuously prosecuting their claim. Not only that they were continuously prosecuting their claim, they were really struggling at that time frame, and we try to provide as much of support that we can, resources, and do everything that we can in our power to support them. But it was a great, great, great opportunity and feeling to serve, right? But to also make sure that this veteran here did not go into ruins, right? And mentally, spiritually, financially. So understanding that, right, we always try to provide that major impact, and we're going to continue to do so. So, those are the impactful stories that we make sure that our veterans understand when serving. That is the highest level that we can serve at, to be able to serve those three pillars of life. So that was great. That was
No, great story. And, veterans, we want to hear your stories, right? We have a wonderful series, Veteran Voices series, where veterans are sharing their experience, right? Military experience, transition experience, dealing with a lot of challenges and turmoils that military life can provide. So, if you want to share your story on Veteran Voices, definitely reach out to us, and we would love to hear your story as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, right? Not only is your story, it's great, right, and impactful, but it may be so impactful it may save a life, right? Or your story could change another's lives and be so inspirational, right? To garner another young person into the military, or person just in general to go to the military, and really serve our country here. So we want to hear your stories. Not only do we want to hear your stories, other veterans wants to hear your stories, and we want to make sure that we're creating a space for these ventures, experiences, and knowledge to be cultivated and delivered to the community at a high level.
Appreciate your time. Prepare to compete. We out. Peace.